Organize Me Radio, episode 76, Preparing Your Home for Baby. I'm Naeemah Ford Goldson. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Organize Me Radio. I'm Naeemah Ford Goldson, and today's guest is a professional organizer, and she is the owner and founder of Nesting Godmother. Please welcome Cyrstal Johnson. Welcome, Cyrstal.
Hi, Naeemah. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about your business and how you help parents and expectant mothers. But first, can you tell us how you got your start in the organizing industry?
It's really funny. Of course, everyone I think in this industry has started as a kid without even realizing it. But I honestly started this particular type of organizing with myself. So I'm the mother of three boys. And when I knew I was having my first, I had a tiny one bedroom apartment and I knew I had to cram a lot of stuff in there. So I scavenged everything I could find to figure out how to prepare for him the best. And then I ended up meeting an organizer here in Atlanta. And she introduced me to the professional organizing side, and brought me on to some projects she was doing. And I loved it so much that I decided I wanted to start doing it too.
I love that. And you're right. I think all of us start as when we're young and we don't even
Yeah.
realize it. I know when I decided to turn professional organizing into a business, it was because I couldn't get back into the corporate world after having a baby, because I stayed home with the baby. And then my sister like recommended it and I was like, I guess so. For a while I didn't even know it was something you could do professionally. So yeah, so it's so interesting how we all like end up like we've been doing this all of our lives, and
You
now
didn't
all
need
of
to
a
think
sudden,
about it.
yeah, it's a profession, and now
Yes.
you can get paid for it, right? So
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so nesting godmother, this is something that you just launched. How did you get here? What made you decide to work with this clientele?
Well, it actually happened pretty organically. I have a lot of friends who are starting off as parents in the last few years. And I like to give gifts that are going to be lasting. So I'm like, the box of diapers, great. You're going to get those for the rest of this baby's life. But I started giving this as a baby shower gift. I would offer my friends, hey, let me come over and organize your house for you to be prepared for the baby. Um, and that just blossomed. I mean, it went from me going in, helping them unpack baby shower gifts, finding a home for them, deciding what needed to go. And also, then it was, oh, the baby's older. I've kept all these toys, all of these clothes. I don't know what to do with them. And I will come in and sort through that stuff. So it's just continuously grown where I've learned nesting never stops as long as you're a parent. Even when they leave, you're still nesting.
Right. And it's funny because I don't think people realize that. And as you were saying, as the kids grow older, like, oh my God, with my kids, I'm always like, having to, oh, Gavin can't fit his size 8 pants anymore.
Hmm.
I need to
Hmm.
donate those and I need to do this and that and like swapping things out because my husband doesn't do it.
Right.
So that's something that I have to do and I'm continually doing with these kids as they grow and they grow so quickly.
Yes.
So
I
tell
have
me,
three boys.
you have
So
3 boys. How old are your boys?
7, 4, and 1.
Okay. All right. So you have some littles, like
Yes,
littles, right? So I'm a boy mom too, so we're both boy moms. Shout out to all the boy moms.
absolutely.
And my oldest son is 12. He'll be 13 in October, but
I
he
cannot wait to get there.
girl, he grew so quickly, like he's taller than me now. He eats a lot. Like it's crazy. His dad is tall, so I mean that's just inevitable. And then my youngest son, he's 9. He'll be 10 in May, but he's still kind of above average when it comes to height. He's like in the 70th percentile, but he's
Yeah.
not like in the 99th percentile, like my oldest son, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he kind of stays in his clothes a little bit longer. Whereas Ethan, he like, since I swear, like when he was like born, maybe at 2 weeks, he was wearing 2 month clothes. Like,
Oh
you know,
wow.
he looked like
Yeah.
well, he was the size of a 2 month old
Right.
or whatever. So he was wearing like 3 to 6 month like
Well,
clothes.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I'm 5'10". My husband is 6'1". So I
Hmm.
come from my father's side is very tall. So each of
Gotcha.
my boys are leggy.
Hmm.
I remember growing up like nothing fit me right. Thank God for the adjustable straps now on the
Yeah.
inside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because you're tall and skinny, right?
And one of my oldest is built just like I was as a kid. And so when I see him, I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, but
Yeah.
in the long run, you're gonna have some tall boys, and we
Mhm.
like height, right? We like height,
Yes, yes, there is definitely welcome for the boys. Look,
right?
it's not
Right.
till a girl gets older that it's appreciated. But I'm like, thank you. My boys don't have to go through that.
I love it. So, what's your process like then when working with parents? So, you
Mhm.
go into their homes. How does it start? What is their temperament like? Because when you're pregnant, it's not always the best circumstances. And then it also depends on how far along in the pregnancy they are. So, do you help people when they are close to delivery? Do you help people midway through? How does the entire process work?
It really depends on the client, right? So I have some clients, this is first brand new, never did this before, clueless. And I approach them completely differently than a parent that has done this, but just not in this type of process. So when I'm with expectant parents, I go in with the mindset that I'm more of an educator. I go in with what I know, what I've practiced, what I've learned worked for me, what I've seen work for other clients, and I teach them the ways to nest that's different than just doing a nursery. So of course we touch the nursery. That's like mom's thing. Let's get it all perfect and pretty,
Yeah.
not realizing that baby usually don't go in that nursery for the first 3 months. So I also introduce them to organizing in their bedroom, organizing where the baby will sleep. A lot of pack and plays come with the diaper and all that stuff attached to it. So we go through there and we do that. Nightstands, dad side, mom side. If there's an attached bathroom, let's organize that so that if you need to get up and bathe the baby or move the baby, my thought is, what is it going to be most easy for the mother and the father to get the baby taken care of in a way that is efficient, and that's comfortable because it's in their home. And for parents who are been there, done that, parents like me, right? It's really a much bigger assessment. It's looking at how old are the kids, the older siblings. What is it that we have to navigate around for them to still feel like they're a part of the process, that they're excited about welcoming a baby, and also same thing with parents. I'm also educating them to include them. And I've included my boys with each kid. Like if you are a part of it, you are more excited about having a sibling. But if you're kind of pushed off and not put in like, oh, here's where the diapers will be. Can you see and show me where these will be? So if mommy needs them, I love doing that. I love to see the excitement. I love to see my kids. Like now, my boys, oh my God, it made me want to cry every time. They're like the most loving three boys. I'm like, I know this doesn't last forever, but I know it works. I know including those older kids really does work.
So, why do you think this service is important for, parents that are expecting and for, the parents that have kids already?
I think, well, the first of all, that's an excellent question because I believe we've been going on this. We kind of, especially in our community, right? In the Black community, is this is what my mama did.
Yeah.
This is how this should be.
Yep.
And the reality is, we got a lot more great things that our generation has created. So our job isn't that hard. So it's the adjustment of what works for your family. It's not cookie cutter. No child is the same. No family is the same. And so I believe that that is what makes it so important is that you are actually learning like, oh, I could do this totally different than how my grandmother or my mother did it, and it will work way better for me than my mom. I know every time I had a baby, why you don't buy glass bottles? Or oh, I remember we had the Playtex bags. You didn't even have to clean the bottle. You just dumped them. And I'm like, girl, don't nobody have that no more. I mean, if they do, nobody's buying it. And figuring out how to store that is like, it's ridiculous. So for that being said, I think it's just what's really important is them seeing that it can be done for them in an authentic and unique way to how their family functions. And they don't have to attach themselves to what mom-in-law says or mom says. Like it's literally what works for you and your family.
I love that you mentioned the old school stuff.
Yes.
Um, so tell me, what are the old school things that we should throw out the window? Like now, mind
Mm,
you, these are people who raised babies in like the 70s,
yes,
80s,
yes, yes.
90s, even, what should we get rid of?
Oh, Lord, Naima, I think my biggest pet peeve with not every family is wrong with this because I get it. I was blessed just like you to have all boys, right? But please stop telling us to hold on to stuff just in case. Like just in case. Just in case you need. I'm like, no. They continue to produce better material, better products. So we don't really have to hold on to stuff. I do hold on to a lot of my boys' toys. So, like, because I have one that was obsessed with Thomas, when the other one was getting older, he also became interested, but now he's a Hot Wheels fanatic. So, I still got the trains, but I was able to get rid of the multiple train sets that I had and have just one so that my youngest can get to understand trains. And if he finds it interesting, we'll keep it. If not, it gotta go. And clothes, my mother, honestly, yeah, she's probably been the one that made me think like we have to stop saying that. Like we don't have to keep doing this. One of my clients I just worked with, this is exactly why she received a baby Brezza, right?
Mhm.
I don't know what that is. I shook bottles. I just did what my mom saw me. And so she exchanged it for a newer one. And I'm on the phone with her, and I literally saw her make a bottle in like 3 seconds. And I was like, what? Like, so that's why we say don't tell people to hold on to stuff. And then on the other side of that is there are people out here that can't afford those things. And there are resources where you can donate or you can sell as consignment, where you can get money for those things and use towards other things for your kids, but you're also blessing another person with what they probably could not afford at some point.
I love all those things. And it's funny because you mentioning making a bottle in 3 seconds.
Hmm.
So my sister, who she's around the same age as me, she's a year older than me. She just had her first baby via gestational carrier.
Hmm.
And her baby, she just turned a year old in November. But she of course couldn't be breastfed because it was via gestational carrier, so she was formula fed. And my sister was telling me about this great new tool that they have where you can make a bottle. It's like a curing machine. You can make a
Yes,
bottle, it's warm,
girl, it is
this and that.
unbelievable.
I'm like, what,
It's unbelievable. When she did it on the phone, we were on FaceTime, and I was like, what is that? It's like, why didn't they have that for me? I
Yeah.
breastfed my first one, but after that, I mean, those getting up in the middle of the night, baby screaming, you trying to put a bottle, trying to hold, it's just a lot. But when I watched her pop pop turn it on, I said, I know they better not have a whole curing machine for baby bottles.
It's so funny. And then one of the other things that I remember being told was, "Oh, you don't have to worry about baby proofing now. You don't have to buy all that stuff. don't do it until whatever, you have all this time. But for me, I was exhausted.
Hmm.
I nursed both my babies, and it was just the most exhausting thing
It is
ever.
the most exhausting thing.
Yes. And it to me, it made more sense to do it beforehand when I
Mhm.
had the energy and didn't
Yeah.
have kids running around. What are your thoughts? When is the proper time to start baby proofing your home?
I understand where from both sides, right? So of course, our the older generations are thinking back on the time they really don't have an understanding of how that felt at the time. Like when you're in it, like this went way too fast. Um, my kids all developed differently and widely differently. So my oldest son, he was walking at 8 months. I clearly needed to have the house.
Oh yeah. Oh
Clear.
yeah.
So I do agree with you. Like, just get it done. Unfortunately, parents aren't really aware of how tired they are. Not just moms, dads included. Like, they don't have a clue of the adjustment that it requires. So getting it done, getting that one last thing checked off, I agree with you. It's like, let's get it done because you never know. Like my second my second child, he started walking after one. So we were like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? But even if you have multiples, think about it. You
Hmm.
have multiples, you already got it done most of the time.
Right.
You already have it done. You don't have to think about it again. So I do agree with you on having the house child proved early. Now something that I thought about and I totally forgot about. It's something that I do offer that grandparents, people an old tip, like you don't have to worry about having that baby bottle. Just buy a bunch of bottles and wash them as you go. Absolutely not. Like I believe you should have everything prepared to put milk in before you leave for the hospital. You should have everything in a place in the kitchen that's for the baby only. Not mixed in with everybody else's. You never know when you need a grandparent to come help you, a babysitter to come help you. One thing that I saw with my best friend, her husband prepares their son for daycare every night. And because I went to go organize everything, he knew where everything was and he did not have to bother her with that. So it's like, just know that it's a different time. We know how to manage time. We know that life is different for every kid. And take that in consideration with what you choose to do and when you choose to do it for your family.
Got it. Okay. So, can you tell me, what do you think is the best way to set up a nursery? You mentioned how the
Mhm.
dad knew where everything was.
Right.
How should people set up their nurseries?
I'm I'm very detailed. Okay, that's just my thing. So the first thing I think about is how does the parent function? Either if it's mom, dad, whoever's going to do most, well, they should equally be doing it, but it's not always the truth. So I'm always like, okay, are you right-handed? So that's the first thing I ask parents, are you right-handed? And I literally will design, decorate, and organize a nursery based on where you lean towards doing things more. I always think that the crib should be faced towards the door. So, like, if you have an opposite wall to your door, the baby should be the first thing you see. Always have a rocker next to a window. You are teaching your child the difference between daylight and night. So it's like that helps to have that window right there, always. Next to the dresser is always a cart, three-tier cart, that has diapers, wipes, and any kind of medical care, medicine care on it. I'm very strict about that, and that's because I've learned those things can become very they can just be a catch-all for unnecessary stuff. For a lot of parents, they will just forget where things are. And if you know that you have the essentials that you need every day on those three-tier carts, it helps things so much. Like I have an example, my client, she just came home about a month ago with her son Within the first few days, she called me like, "Where is his brush?" And I'm like, "Girl, I put it right on the cart next to his dresser, in between the dresser and your table, or like where you sit to rock him." And she was like, "It's not here. It's not here." And I'm like, "Okay." I gave it a couple of days, and I texted her. I said, "Hey, did you ever find this brush?" She was like, "It was on the cart right where you said it." So I try to do it strategically where it's like if they do come into that situation, they can call me. It's different for breastfeeding moms, totally different. We require a lot of water, a lot of snacks when you're breastfeeding. And I do know for a fact when there are new moms, they have no clue how hungry they are and they cannot move. Like you're stuck. So
Hmm.
on that 3-tier cart, I would always include bottled waters and a snack, a whole tier for just mom, so she can reach over without disturbing baby. The breast pump, any accessories, and then a second cart on the opposite side of the dresser for like diapers and changing things. So it also depends on the size of the nursery. Everybody, some people go luxury, you know. Some people got a whole nother section. So those I definitely take liberty for the space. I try not to overstep because sometimes parents have certain things they want a certain place. But if I'm able to educate them on this is how you will move in this room naturally, this is my recommendation. If they're completely against it for aesthetic reasons, we'll figure it out. But mostly it is starting with what are you left handed, right handed, and then I kind of proceed through the room that way.
So then, what are some things that a mother to be should consider
Mhm.
when she is in her nesting phase? Because they say we all go through it. When it's almost
Yep.
time for the baby to come, we're cleaning the carpets
Doing
and
the most.
getting the house professionally cleaned. I know that's what I did. I think I had the carpets cleaned. I got the house
Mhm.
professionally
Me
cleaned and,
too.
all that stuff. So, what should moms consider when they are in that phase? What's important? What's not so important?
Mm. Okay, for me, I think that no, not even that I think that, I know that decorating the nursery is fun. It's amazing. You will not go in that room probably unless you're strictly going to have that baby in that bed and you're going to sleep in that room. You probably won't be in there. So a lot of the decorating things can be put off. Rest is essential. I know that we automatically want to organize, automatically want to prepare the house and have it looking perfect for when the baby comes home. That baby don't care what that house look like. All the baby cares about is that you can take care of them when they want, when they need, on the time that they want you to. And that's just pretty much kids in general, right? So I would say don't worry so much about the design, worry more about the function when you get home. Make sure that there's a space where family can come and meet the baby that's comfortable for everybody. Um, Not so much the nursery. I I do include nursery organizing in my package, of course. It's like mom's thing. But they a lot of women and men don't think about all the other areas in the house that you touch. I had a client when they had their first daughter, they were like, "Oh," I said, "Where's the stroller? You know, where's everything to get the baby out the door quick?" "Oh, I didn't. We didn't know that all that stuff needed to be out the box." I'm like, "Well, when it's time to go, you know." When it's time to go, you gotta have these things prepared. So in the nursing, not don't the I'm sorry, in the nesting, don't think so much about what it looks like. Think about what it feels like for you as the parent because you want to be confident in what you have to do in this new for some people for everybody is new. Let me not say for some people. For everyone, whether it's your first, second, third, is new. It's going to be something new. Um, but just be able to prepare your home in a way that makes you confident to show up for that child and for yourself. Um, Give yourself plenty of rest. Hire me to come in and help you and show you what the essentials are. The nursery can wait. The kitchen needs your attention. The bathroom needs your attention. The family room needs your attention. Those things are so important in those first few months, and it allows you to just relax with confidence that you got everything under control for that time.
Okay. So, what's funny to me is you mentioning that the nursery isn't that important. So, my son, so we set up the nursery for my oldest son, right? We had this jungle theme. I had, my husband and his mom do a mural on the wall and everything. We had a tree and the branches were bookshelves
Okay.
I saw on like Pinterest or something at the time or whatever it was. So we
Yeah.
have this nice, beautiful nursery. And my son ends up like pretty much sleeping in the bed with me.
The whole time.
He had no desire to sleep in his crib. Now, sometimes he might have slept in his crib like for a nap or something like that, but those naps would last for like 10 minutes and it would
Yes.
just be much easier to keep him with me so then I can nurse him and lay him back down. And it's so hilarious. So, for my second son, who was born 2.5 years after my first son, we didn't even do a nursery. Like,
Bro.
we ended up turning the nursery into a playroom and we just put the crib into our room. So for my second son, the crib was right in our room and he did
Right.
sleep in the crib more. But whoo, that first child, that was a
We
learning
did the same thing. It's like it's a part of becoming a parent. It's like, oh, I'm gonna give this baby this beautiful room, not knowing the babies don't even see color and all that stuff for quite some time. So they are not that excited. Everything looks black and white, right? So when I was getting ready for my first son, we had just moved into our house that we're still in now. And it was like moving from a 1 bedroom apartment to a 3 bedroom. I was like, oh, we about to go out. We about to do all the things for this little boy's room. No, he didn't care. When they start to care is when they start to have real interest. So like when my oldest son was turning 3 and I was expecting my next son, I did not do anything to the nursery, but I knew that that was going to be where he ended up sleeping eventually. I did not touch it. I really focused on what we needed in our bedroom. So we had like a pack and play next to the bed, all those things in our bedroom. And we still had the nursery with the crib, but in my oldest son's room, that's when I got to have the fun. That's when I painted the room. That's when I put up his favorite characters. And I mean, to have that reaction for him to feel like, oh, she still thought about me, even though she got this little baby on the way. And I've done that consistently with even our last baby. My boys have a huge, they're spoiled. They have a huge cabin bunk bed for the two
fun.
oldest. So in their room, it's like a little campsite, but now they're able to appreciate it. They're able to give their input and you're not feeling like, oh, you don't even like what I did in your room. And the little one, he has fun in there too. He just sleeps in his room. He don't care about the Mickey Mouse little dashes I've put around there. He could care
I love it. It's and I like how you mentioned, as they get older and they have their big boy room or their big girl room or whatever, you can really have fun with it. You can get them involved in it. You can ask them what theme they want and everything like that. But to each their own. A lot of parents are likely going to do a nursery anyway.
Absolutely. I don't knock it. I do not knock it. But it will be an awakening, I think, like you and I had. Like, you don't even care. Like, you don't even care, baby. All the thought I put into this jungle theme, you don't even care. But it looks good to us and it feels good. So I do not knock it. I've seen some amazing nurseries and I tried my best to have one too, so I know what it feels like to have it done. It's just like it's the last thing. It's like for me, it's let's worry about function here because you're not going to care, to be honest.
Got it. Okay. So, speaking of nursery and items and things like that, can you tell me what are some of your favorite organizing products?
Oh yeah, well I've already spoke on the tier cart. I only usually have one. I feel like Those are great for moving around on one floor. If I have a client who has multiple floors that they often are on, I'll tell them have one for each floor. But usually if you put one in a nursery, you're not moving it much. It's going to just sit next to the changing table or dresser. Um, my other thing that I absolutely love, which sometimes works, sometimes does not, depends on the client in the house. I like the over the door organizing hangers, right? They just make sense to me. Like if you are going to have an attached bathroom, they make sense. Like just have all of the cleaning, all of the bath things at your reach. That's what I created at my first apartment. I actually didn't have the hanging over the door because I believe my linen closet door was maybe a foot or 2 feet. It was very narrow. So what I did was I went to the dollar store. I bought hooks and those little baskets, and I just that's how I made it. And that's where I kept his shampoo. All his stuff was right there in arm's reach. Another thing, the little clear basket. So the clear bins. I'm not really I'm not pressed on brand as long as it's functional and it holds up, right? Because when you have a newborn baby, now when you get older, absolutely, certain products I'm for the durability. But when it's a brand new baby, clear containers, absolutely, so you can see what you have. I believe in unboxing everything. So if you have a box of diapers, take them out, stack them up. We're not going to keep the box. Um, if you have wipes, unbox them, have them in reach. So if you need to refill your baby wipe holder, which let me talk about that real quick. Do not, I get it. Warm tushies are a thing. People want a warmer, and that works. No, you don't need it. What you really need is just a diaper caddy holder, like a wipe holder and a diaper caddy. I am in love with OXO's products, so I'm always telling clients like, look, get I have a specific one that I always tell them to get. It's a caddy that has the changing pad, a place for you to put the diapers, a couple of pockets for like baby balm, all the things you need for changing needs, and it actually has a box area that's big enough to hold the wipe holder, right? So that way, if they had to go to another room instead of pushing a cart, take that caddy up. Or if you have your grandparents are coming over and they're coming to help, take that caddy downstairs. Actually, I would say buy one for every floor if you have multiple floors. So that will be the things that I say are important. Tiered caddies, diaper carry-on caddies, a wipe dispenser holder, and over the door storage.
Okay, wonderful. Those are some really great organizing product recommendations. And I think that all the information that you have given us today, I think will definitely help a lot of expectant parents. I wish I had this information when I
Oh no,
was before I became a professional organizer, when I was an expectant mother and really didn't know what to do and all that
right.
stuff. But anyway, I digress. So I would love to know, what is your greatest professional achievement?
Being able to help moms like myself is my greatest achievement. I'm here for all parents, but I am a Michigan girl living in a Georgia world, and I don't have a lot of people here. I mean, I do now, but and when I first started, I didn't really have the village that I needed to show me the ropes, where to get stuff, how to get stuff. I had my sister-in-law who helped. So my greatest achievement is to be that for other people. I know a lot of our generation is we're not at home. It's just not we went off to school or we just wanted to explore. And so we're often finding ourselves in cities and areas where we know no one and we're starting families. So being able to show up and be those things for a person has been my greatest achievement, or for parents. The dads have welcomed me with open arms because they often are left out of nesting. And it's kind of thought of a mom thing. but I make sure to include them. So that would be my greatest achievement. It's just the impact that I leave with my clients.
Crystal, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
and leaving
you.
us with all this wisdom. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Of,
having me.
of course. Can you tell everyone how they can find out more information about you?
Yes, absolutely. I am on Instagram at nesting_godmother. And you can find me and book me at nestinggodmother, all one word.com.
Thank you all for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time for an all new episode.